afternoon in Austin, Texas, where we welcome you to a big-time college basketball matchup. Madison Booker and the number 4 Longhorns taking on impressive freshman Joyce Edwards and number 2 South Carolina. You are watching the SEC on ESPN. A terrific Sunday afternoon contest at Moody Center and a charged up atmosphere here in Austin for South Carolina and Texas as we welcome you courtside. Hey everybody, Ryan Rucco alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. So happy to be with you this Sunday afternoon on ESPN. Rebecca, these teams met January 12th, a 17-point South Carolina win. Texas looking to even the score today.
South Carolina was so good in that game on both the offensive and defensive ends. They shot over 50% in that game. Texas had 28 more field goal attempts, but just couldn't get the ball to go through the basket.
One of those players who couldn't was star sophomore Madison Booker, was just 3 for 19 in that game, but she is so talented.
She is one of the bright young stars in all of women's college basketball. At 6'1", she can get to her spot and score with efficiency, especially in the games since that South Carolina loss. She has been really good. She's been averaging over 20 points a game, assisting her teammates. She can get it done offensively.
Yeah, these are those last 7 games since the performance against South Carolina. The 20 points, as Rebecca mentioned, and 52% from the floor. Meanwhile, for South Carolina, they have won 57 straight regular season SEC games. That gets tested again today. And they have additional help because Joyce Edwards, the freshman, just continues to develop.
This is a South Carolina team that is very well balanced on both ends of the floor. Joyce Edwards coming in off the bench, in particular the last 6 games, has really provided a nice punch. You see just under 16 points a game, doing it really efficiently. Dawn Staley told us things are slowing down. She's letting the game come to her.
For a little more on today's matchup, let's send things over to Holly Rowe.
On Super Bowl Sunday, what do you need? You need outstanding quarterback play to win games, and that's what both teams have, outstanding floor generals. For Dawn Staley, she said that Te-Hina is one of the best she's ever coached. She calms us down, and when a team like Texas can speed you up in the course of a game, she is able to get them calm and centered. And when we asked Dawn Staley, what's your biggest concern for Texas? It's their point guard, their quarterback, Rory Harmon. She said, we have to start there, trying to stop her. She makes everything go, just like a great quarterback. And yes, Dawn Staley has been in touch with Jalen Hurts last week on Super Bowl Sunday. She needs a little good quarterback magic of her own.
Very nice, Holly. Thank you very much. Oh, they are fired up at Moody Center for Texas, South Carolina, a top 4 tangle. A little appetizer on Super Bowl Sunday. Kitts and Jones to jump it up, and South Carolina wins the tip.
See Texas picking up in man-to-man defense. They will provide a lot of pressure when South Carolina tries to get wing entry passes.
Raven Johnson leaves it short. Here comes Harmon blasting up the floor. Harmon, Shea Holly, Madison Booker, Jackalangam, Wenentanda, and Taylor Jones, the starting 5 for Texas, and a foul called against South Carolina. The personal will go on Te-Hina, her first. The starting lineup for South Carolina: Raven Johnson, Bree Hall, Chloe Kitts, and Sanaya Fagan. Fagan really been playing well of late as Jones sinks the first free throw. You can see Dawn Staley rocking her Eagles Super Bowl sweatshirt from Philadelphia, and a die-hard Eagles fan, in case you haven't seen some of Dawn's jerseys she's been wearing lately to support her squad. Holly told you about her conversing with Jalen Hurts after the championship game, but not this week. She said, I had to leave QB1 alone this week. Here's Kitts. Crowd really into it early. Knock away from Booker.
Outstanding defense by Texas on that possession.
Booker can't finish the layup. Trying to get back to it. Another chance for Texas. Remember, Booker really struggled shooting the basketball in the first matchup against South Carolina, 3 for 19. And this is going to be a blocking foul on Bree Hall, so an early personal on Hall.
Bree Hall has the defensive assignment on Madison Booker. She's trying to fight over those screens, do everything she can to keep Booker from catching the basketball. Ryan, Coach Vic Schaefer going into the first matchup against South Carolina, after the first matchup, going into today's matchup, what is the one thing he talked about over and over again?
Toughness.
Toughness, his team's toughness. He has to be pretty happy with how they have looked so far here early.
Would I have been docked a grade if I'd answered him correctly?
Yes.
Here is Jones facing up and hitting on the mid-range.
Taylor Jones has been playing really well, particularly offensively for Texas in the last couple of weeks. Very capable of making that mid-range.
Just to your point, Vic Schaefer has consistently emphasized how tough South Carolina is as a team and how he felt like South Carolina was tougher against them in that first matchup. Vic has taken Texas to the Elite Eight in 3 of his first 4 seasons as head coach. Plenty of time in the SEC in his career, of course, Mississippi State before this. And Texas moving to the SEC, so he and Dawn played against each other, their teams a lot. Another foul here against Texas. As
Jones got hit.
Yeah,
it looks
Taylor
like she
Jones
got hit in the mouth.
Agreed. So 1 foul on Wenentanda, and now 1 on Taylor Jones. Free throws here for South Carolina. But Dawn Staley's not going to be happy with these early fouls because she needs a quick game so she can get on that plane back to Columbia
That's right.
and watch the Super Bowl. You see Dawn's record 14-3 all time against Vic Schaefer. Dawn got a very loud ovation here in Texas when she was announced before the game. Here's Booker, guarded by Hall. Did such a nice job in the first matchup. Booker elevating and hitting a much-needed bucket for Madison Booker.
And a tough shot as well. Hall was right there. Booker with the rainbow to get it over her. One of the things to keep an eye on, how far away from the basket does South Carolina have to catch the basketball? What Texas wants to make you do.
Chloe Kidd swooping in, leaves it short. Jones trying to grab the rebound. And an over-the-back foul is called on Kitts.
With this on-ball screen, watch the defensive attention that Madison Booker gets. Not only Hall getting over, Kitts is right there. Pow-pow with a hand for a second. And then just gets enough room to get the shot off.
Rainbow touch from Madison Booker, who became the first freshman to win Big 12 Player of the Year last season. Was second-team All-American. And was the preseason pick for the SEC Player of the Year this year. Jones trying to grab it. Jones elevates, might have been partially blocked by Fagan, and they're going to say no, and out of bounds off of Texas.
One of the things Fagan does really well is to get around in 3-quarter and not let the post player just catch a direct entry. And you saw that from her defensively on that possession, tipping the ball, so Jones had to catch it farther out.
Fagan made so many winning plays in the first matchup between these two teams. Has played really well over the last few weeks.
Pow-pow trying to post up the smaller Rory Harmon inside.
Here's the freshman Edwards, and a travel as South Carolina turns it over. Texas, that's what they do. They try and turn you over. They try and win the offensive glass. That's how the first time these two teams met, Texas actually had 28 more field goal attempts than South Carolina.
Texas has been really feisty on the defensive end of the floor. Nothing has come easy for South Carolina.
Here's Booker, good hands by Hall. Booker gets back to it, crossover, can't hit. Rebound, took an extra hop. Holly keeps it alive. Booker thought about firing, did not. Booker dishes. And to shoot. Harmon, the crossover, pitter pattern, no. Rebound controlled by Fagan. Beautiful down court feed, and Edwards lays it in. What vision from Raven Johnson.
And one of the things South Carolina's posts do as well as, if not better than any other team in the country, is rim run. No matter which post players are in the game, they are sprinting ahead.
And an offensive foul here against Madison Booker as she shoved off Paul.
Watch Joyce Edwards just get ahead, and Raven Johnson gives her the perfect get-ahead pass. And not just running, but see the whole time like a receiver. She's got her head turned looking, is my guard going to pass me the basketball?
And Johnson able to fit it in just over the hands of the safety for the touchdown.
Let's keep going with our football analogies on Super Bowl Sunday. Although mine are going to run out a lot sooner than yours will.
And this time, Jones there for the steal and a foul on Pow, and that is going to be her second. So 2 early fouls on Te-Hina Pow, and that's going to send her to the bench early with Malaysia Fulwiley coming in.
Texas picking up an extended pressure, and you cannot make that pass. You've got to see the back line of the defense coming. Pow gets that foul because the pass was made, and now she has to go to the bench.
So the general of the South Carolina offense on the bench. We know this is a deep Gamecock team, though, as Harmon throws that away. And Texas turns it over. Texas number 3 in the nation in turnover margin. They average 9.5 fewer turnovers per game than their opponents. Only Ohio State, College of Charleston with a better margin. Fulwiley can't finish. Booker pulls up and hits again. Johnson again finding Edwards leaking out, and Edwards gets fouled. Foul will be called this time on Justice Carlton.
Watch Madison Booker and where her release point is on her shot, and then the flick of the wrist. High, and it's all in the flick of the wrist. Beautiful, tough shot and finish. But I can't be more impressed with how Joyce Edwards continues to run the floor. Every single time, and you're not rewarded every time, but if you do it every time, you wear out and tire out the defense.
You're asking Dawn Staley about Joyce Edwards before the game and said she just sees her having more confidence knowing she's going to play 20-plus minutes a night no matter what, with Ashlyn Watkins out for the season. Said also she's seeing the game differently now. Things are slowing down. She's letting it come to her.
She's been letting those Raven Johnson passes come to her, that's for sure.
Here's Harmon. Harmon finding some space, fades away, can't drop it in. Johnson fouled in the backcourt by Holly. Shea, not Rowe.
That was actually a pretty good foul because it looked like Raven Johnson was going to be able to advance the basketball for another layup. Oh, but they're in the bonus?
Yeah, the fouls are piling up for both teams. Now,
I take that back. Maybe not a great foul.
Both in the bonus.
Ooh.
This early in the first quarter. I can't remember a game we have done. We haven't done a game this year where the EB team has been in the bonus this early in the first quarter. I don't think we have both.
I had Texas and Oklahoma earlier this season where there was a combined, they had combined 54 personal fouls, but you and I were not together in that one. So yes, I think you're right. This has been a little bit of a rock fight.
Now South Carolina, they don't rely on the free throw as a big part of their offense. They're 288th in free throw rate. Texas, different story. They do get to the line often. And that is a big part of what they do. They're 6th in the nation in free throw attempts per game. Here's Harmon. Wiggling, looking for some space, and knocks it in. Terrific crowd here in Austin for this matchup between South Carolina and Texas. Harmon goes down. Fulwiley banks it in. Rory Harmon is down.
She ran into her own teammate. when she was trying to get over, as Fulwiley was doing an Iverson cut over the double screens, and Harmon ran right into her own teammate.
Harmon, who missed most of last season with a torn ACL, and this time took a shot to the face and is clearly in pain, as head coach Vic Schaefer comes out to the floor as well. And you see who gets kind of smushed in between Edwards and Carlton. Yes. Officials will take a look at it. We'll step aside. 4:31 to go in the first. Texas a 2-point lead.
After a hard hit to the nose, it looks like Rory Harmon will be checking back into this game, and it's good news. When she goes down, your heart stops because of all she's been through to get back. Just over a year ago, she tore her ACL, and she has been going through a grueling rehab. She was able to come back to the court in just 10 months, one of the quicker ACL returns I've ever seen for a female basketball player, and she was training 5 hours a day, no stone left unturned, trying to get back onto the court. She finally got this good news in September. That's the day she found out she got cleared. Her strength and conditioning coach, Zach, lots of love because of all of the work those two had been through together, and having her back out on the court, her resilience and her diligence. She told me today, just the last 2 weeks, I finally feel like myself again.
And Holly, talking to Vic Schaefer earlier today as Rory in the game after that screen, they reviewed it to see if it was a potential intentional foul or disqualifying act. It was not. It was just Rory running into a legal screen. And obviously good to see her back in the game okay. But talking to Vic Schaefer before the game, he said he feels like she is all the way back, completely as her best self once again.
And it's so important for her to have that explosiveness because she's only 5'6". She needs to have elevation when she gets to her mid-range, and that certainly looks like it has returned.
Miriam Dowda whistled for the personal. Both teams are in the bonus in a foul-ridden first quarter as Tessa Johnson flags down the rebound out there with Edwards, Dowda, Raven Johnson, and Malaysia Fulwiley for South Carolina. Last year's national champions, 22-1 this season. Number 2 in the nation, UCLA at number 1. Here's Edwards. Handing off, Fulwiley elevates, can't pop it in, Harmon the rebound.
Tough shot, another really good defensive possession by Texas.
Here's Harmon. Harmon tries to dump it down, deflected and taken by South Carolina. Raven Johnson, another great get-ahead pass. Fulwiley to Tessa, out of 3.
Great decision by Malaysia Fulwiley to find Tessa Johnson in the left corner, not to force something for herself.
Neither team had attempted a 3 before that. Tessa Johnson made. Tessa Johnson, one of the heroes of the Final Four a season ago for South Carolina. Here's Harmon. Off the Carlton, threw a bullet into the gut of Taylor Jones, who gets fouled. And you could see Texas' insistence on getting the ball into Taylor Jones. She'll go to the line to shoot 2.
And we've seen South Carolina's insistence on pushing the ball up the floor. Raven Johnson, how many get-aheads has she had already? And then Fulwiley, just perfect delivery. Tessa Johnson in the corner, hitting a wide open look. Can we go back to that pass?
Into the gut of Jones?
Into the gut of Jones. You know, the closer you are to someone, the softer you need to throw the ball.
Not for,
that was a tough one to catch.
That was not the edict that Justice Carlton was following.
It was not.
So that was the second foul on Dowda. So a couple of South Carolina players in foul trouble. Dowda with 2 and Te-Hina with 2. Fagan the rebound. Back in. They slide it into Edwards. The freshman surrounded. Really aggressive hawking defense here from Texas. Yeah. Fagan bounces in, and it's taken by Jones. I mean, you could see that steal developing with the aggression from the Texas defense. Freshman Brianna Preston into the game for Texas. Jones gets free and lays it in on the delivery from Booker. That's 7 points now for Taylor Jones.
She's just really working and battling and posting and reposting.
Here's Fulwiley. Fulwiley gets bumped and will shoot two. Foul on Carlton. That will be her second.
Right now we have 12 personal fouls called in this game and 8 made field goals. How's that appetizer? We need some more guacamole, some salsa to spice this thing up on this Super Bowl appetizer today.
Fulwiley at the line. Hey, you wanted another appetizer? You get one more on this Super Bowl Sunday. After this, Rebecca, coming up next here on ESPN, Tennessee takes on LSU at the PMAC in Baton Rouge. That is an outstanding game coming up next year on ESPN. Of course, we were in Knoxville on Thursday for Tennessee's thrilling win over Connecticut. First time they'd beaten UConn since 2007.
Yeah, that LSU-Tennessee game will give us the spice.
Yeah. Here's Preston. Plays with a lot of verve, a freshman. Wenentanda gives it up, but not before a 3-second violation.
Oldacre was working hard and posting up and asking for the basketball. And sometimes when you feel like you're open as a big, it's really hard to get out of the lane.
Fourth turnover for Texas. Oldacre was tremendous in the first meeting between these teams. Had 12 offensive rebounds in that game. McDaniel gets fouled and will go to the line to shoot two. Maddie McDaniel, the freshman, two-time Maryland Player of the Year, McDonald's All-American. And first quarter comparison from January 12th and today. I mean, what was just really a total anomaly in that first game was look at the field goal attempts in that January 12th meeting in the first quarter. Texas had 18 more field goal attempts than South Carolina. I mean, you just never see that happening ever in a quarter, in a single quarter. Never mind that team be down by 9 points.
That's the part that's incredible. Now, right now, these players have to settle in and understand how this game is being officiated and adjust.
Yeah.
Because it is being called very closely right now.
And very consistently in that way.
Yes.
Here's Booker wrapping around, elevating, can't hit. Oldacre, an outstanding offensive rebounder, gets fouled by Fagan. That'll be the first on Sanaya Fagan as Oldacre is going to shoot two.
You mentioned in that first matchup how Oldacre had 12 offensive boards. This 6'4" post player has a 6'11" wingspan, reaches right over, gets the board. Ooh, I thought that was a clean block by Fagan, though.
And so did Fagan, so did Dawn Staley, who is continuing to have the conversation. Oldacre, with those 12 offensive rebounds in the last meeting, the only players in an SEC game with more offensive rebounds since the 09-2010 season, Angel Reese and Tiara McCowan. Pretty great company, yeah. Hits with the mid-range jumper.
Nice little fake handoff, turned, and she was wide open, and she is very capable of making that 15-footer.
Tied at 14, 1 minute to go in the first quarter. Number 2, South Carolina at number 4, Texas. South Carolina has won 57 straight SEC regular season games. Here's Booker. Booker gets fouled. And Madison Booker is going to shoot two. Tessa Johnson picks up her first.
South Carolina can do a nice job guarding on-ball screens, especially when Fagan's player is involved, because she just switched out for a stretch of that possession, was able to defend on the perimeter before switching back. And yeah, you got to try to contest Booker, but you have to stop fouling.
Holly
Well, you talked about her struggle in the last meeting against South Carolina, 3 for 19, and she brought it up to me today at shoot-around, like, I can't let that happen again. But even more so, if my shot's not falling, I have to find ways to affect the game. I have to get rebounds, steals. I am not going to be mentally weak this game. She's watched a ton of film. She knew that she had a better opportunity today, and she has responded, guys. I think she has shown that mental toughness and strength moving past that bad shooting game.
I love that awareness, Holly Rowe. We've talked about it all season long. How do you impact winning when you're not scoring the basketball? She understands that herself.
Jordan Lee will spell Booker at the end of this first. And Vic Schaefer said, he told Madison Booker, look, what is that, the first time it's ever happened in your career? Just move on. It happens in basketball. I'm not worried. And she's been great in the 7 games since, as we detailed in the open. Here's Kitts, 5 to shoot on the reverse. Nice move from Chloe Kitts.
South Carolina having to work hard to get good looks. The last couple possessions, they've come from Kitts.
Tied at 16, shot clock turned off. Here's Preston. Preston, 3 seconds left, wheels free and gets fouled. And that is going to be number 2 on Sanaya Fagan. And Dawn Staley is really getting frustrated.
She gets on the arm. I'm okay with that one more than I was with her first one.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if I'm okay with it or not, but I'm just saying, like,
right.
That one at least there was contact. I didn't feel like there was on Fagan's first. But man, as a shot blocker, like, you're totally neutered when you get foul trouble and you can no longer contest.
Yes.
I don't have to say that.
You are once. Preston. It's both free throws. Texas 8 for 12 from the line. South Carolina 5 for 10. Fulwiley, and might have caught our camera. Texas 2-point lead. Holly Rowe will chat with Dawn Staley when we come back. Second quarter action coming up next. Number 2 against number 4 in Austin. Start of the second quarter in Texas. Texas a 2-point lead on South Carolina moments ago. Holly Rowe caught up with Gamecocks head coach Dawn Staley.
Well, Coach, in a game where they are calling it tight like this, how do you talk to your players about adjustments they have to make to that?
Talking about players, talking to the ones that's making the calls. I mean, people are here to see the players play, and I know I can speak for Vic when it's this either or, our team or their team. Let the players play. Okay? The viewership and the people want to see the players make the plays and make the game. So I'll just say that. I'm going to continue to talk to my players. We're not going to adjust, okay? Because this is the way we play. Okay?
Can you teach me how to do?
I hear you, Coach. Talking about making things difficult, Texas makes everything difficult. How can you get a little more flow?
I mean, we make things difficult too. It's a tight game. It's going to be the survival of the fittest. We've been in these situations before. We're not afraid of them. We're going to embrace them.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Holly.
Well, I mean, Dawn Staley's frustration is 100% valid. Right out of the gates, the officials set the tone of calling everything. And it has happened both ways throughout the entire quarter. And it's hard to find any kind of rhythm with a sport that requires it when that's the case.
Without question, and it's been called evenly on both sides. However, both of these teams would like a little more leeway. They both play a physical brand of basketball.
9 fouls called on South Carolina in that quarter, 7 on Texas. Booker, nice look. Shea Holly lays it in.
And when there's pressure defense, you're looking for some back cuts. We saw that right there from Holly. Really nice back cut, ball delivered well.
Powell, Dowda, and Fagan all have 2 fouls for South Carolina. As Edwards is tied up. Possession arrow belongs to South Carolina.
You have to respect Shea Holly out in the left corner because she's a 3-point shooter, and you see the ball. Oh, she just, Tessa Johnson turns her head because she's aware of Booker, as everyone is, and then Booker with the beautiful pass.
The only player with 2 fouls on Texas is Justice Carlton. Johnson, not that time. Weak side rebound, Booker. Booker flings it ahead, but right into the arms of Johnson. Here's Tessa Johnson. Johnson dumps it down perfectly for Kitch. Can't finish the layup, and then Tanda was fending off Kitts on the glass, clearly fouled her, and is called for the personal.
We saw the backdoor cut on one end by Holly there. We saw Kitts doing the same thing with the deny and the overplay, went towards the basket.
Number 2 on Tanda. Here's Edwards. Oldacre on her. Edwards dishes out. Hall's 3. In and out. Nice box out underneath by Holly, and Booker the rebound. Booker gets blocked by Hall, but Oldacre there to clean it up.
Oldacre's going to be a handful for Joyce Edwards just because Oldacre is bigger and stronger.
She has the #1 offensive rebounding percentage for any individual in Division I. Rebounds 21% of her team's misses when she's on the floor. And a foul here goes against Oldacre on a trip. And that will be her second.
So at one end, you saw Oldacre with the advantage, using her size and strength. And on the other end, Joyce Edwards, her advantage in that matchup as Jones comes in for Oldacre. But Edwards' advantage in that matchup is facing up and using her quickness to go by.
So now the front court of Texas has some issues with foul trouble. Carlton, Oldacre, Tanda all with 2. Jones back in. She gets fouled by Dowda. That's going to be her 3rd.
It's a good thing that both of these teams are really, really deep.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to get your first personal foul called. I already had mine.
Nobody's safe. To your point about how deep these teams are, Texas 6th in the nation in bench points. South Carolina is 1st. Booker, her jumper, back ironing off. Jones tracks the rebound in a crowd. Jones able to secure the possession for Texas.
Vic Schaefer wants toughness. That was great toughness by Jones.
And Booker cashes in. Eight-point Texas lead. Johnson a big 3. Off the mark. Gets it back. Raven Johnson comes back into the front court. She was getting ready to come back on defense. Johnson, another beautiful feed, and Kitts lays it in. How about the passing of Raven Johnson in this first half?
It has really been on point, whether it's been in the full court or the quarter court, and Chloe Kitts has done a really good job reading what her defense is giving her.
Dawn Staley has talked throughout this season about the evolution and growth of Chloe Kitts, how much she's improved as Johnson knocks it out of bounds.
Taylor Jones swarmed here on this last possession, but how about the previous one? She goes in, gets the offensive board, surrounded by 4. Vic Schaefer wants toughness. Look at her, making sure she does not give up the basketball and getting her team another possession. Finishes with 2.
Nice hands by Johnson to knock it away. 4.9 on the shot clock. Booker, Harmon, Jones, the freshman Jordan Lee, and then Shea Holly in the game for Texas. Here's Jordan Lee, 3 on the shot clock. Lee spinning, taking, and hitting. Tough bucket from Jordan Lee. The #9 recruit in the nation this past year.
What a talented young freshman. She has got a variety of ways that she can score.
Jones has it on the steal. Booker lost her footing, able to get it over to Harmon. Booker gets it back, fires, no. Rebound loose on the floor. Texas has it. And another chance for Texas. A really engaged crowd here at Moody Center. Harmon, 6 to shoot. Harmon wheeling, fading, no.
That was a terrific box out by Chloe Kitts to ensure that Jones did not get the board.
Here's Raven Johnson. Going cross court. Pow back in with her 2 fouls. Pow's 3 off the mark. Joyce Edwards back in for Dowda, so South Carolina now with Pow, Kitts, Edwards, Raven Johnson, and Bree Hall on the floor. Texas still with Lee, Harmon, Booker, Jones, and Holly. 26-18, Texas in front. They led for all of 127 in their first meeting back on January 12th, a 17-point South Carolina win.
Te-Hina Pow had tried to push pace, beat the defense down the floor, get something easy. Texas got it back and was able to recover.
And another steal.
Smothering, Ryan. Texas's defense has been smothering.
Harmon lobs it on the run. Lee lays it in. Pow, nice look. Kitts can't finish it. Booker came defensively. What a play by Madison Booker. Booker dumps it down. Jones can't lay it in. And Pow ends up with it for South Carolina. Raven Johnson calming down her team. She has been in plenty crucial situations in her career as Pow buries the 3. That's one thing. You don't worry about South Carolina getting frantic or frazzled by any particular situation or deficit.
And certainly you don't worry about that with Te-Hina Pow. She always plays with a certain calm.
Booker, pull-up jumper, short. Edwards the rebound. Here's Raven Johnson. Johnson muscling her way inside. Nice touch pass to Kitts. Booker then reaching in and a tie-up. Texas has possession. Texas a 7-point lead, 3:47 to go in the second quarter. And the Texas defense just relentless in this first half.
Has been absolutely smothering, and it has led to points the other way. Players collapsing and then pushing out Harmon with the terrific pass. The finish by Lee. The crowd, Harmon, energized.
Big difference from the first meeting between these two teams. Just heard Drea talk about it with Madison Booker. She was held to just 7 points on 3 of 19 that first meeting, already 8 today. Field goal percentage obviously elevated so much from a month ago. Meanwhile, Rebecca, what is the counter for South Carolina on the offensive end to this relentless Texas defense?
Well, number one is you try to beat it down the floor, and they've been able to do that a few times, as you see the nice entry pass to Jones in transition. They were able to do that with Raven Johnson's get-ahead passes. They're also looking for some backdoor cuts. Dawn Staley was expecting this, and she said both our guards and our bigs have counters to it. A lot easier said than done, though.
Hall gets denied by Jones on the interior. Pow at 3. Off the mark. Great box out from Lee. And Harmon comes up with it for Texas. Some really just eye-opening, obvious box outs today from Texas as Harmon gets smothered, no whistle, and controlled by South Carolina. Fulwiley, what a dart to Edwards.
Number one, beat the defense down the floor. Don't give them a chance to set, and that was beautifully delivered. Once again, Joyce Edwards rim running.
And a steal, Fulwiley making things happen. Malaysia Fulwiley lays it in. So a beautiful down-court feed, and then the steal and the layup. And it's now a 5-point game.
Malaysia Fulwiley is really figuring out the cadence of when to do what.
Something Dawn Staley has talked to us about throughout the season, that being the next thing Fulwiley was working on, and you've seen it in this game, especially in transition opportunities. As Texas turns it over.
Malaysia Fulwiley here, head up, looking for her teammates, delivers it right between the defenders to Joyce Edwards, and then picking the pocket and finishing the tough one the other way.
Had 5 points the entire quarter before those back-to-back possessions. 2 minutes remaining in the second. Texas 30, South Carolina 25. Fulwiley hops, takes, can't finish it. Jones the rebound. Taylor Jones having a really big first half. 9 points, 5 boards, 4 steals for Taylor Jones. Tonda playing with 2 fouls. Out to Booker. Rainbow jumper spins off. Jones, the putback is good.
We've seen that a couple times from the Texas bigs, the ability to use their reach to lean over and get a clean offensive board.
Edwards, pull-up jumper is off. Holly, how about Taylor Jones?
You know, in the last timeout, she told her teammates, they can't guard me, look for me. And she's right. She's just a bigger, quicker load inside right now. They're having a hard time bodying up on her because they're in foul trouble. She's doing what she wants.
Yeah, 11 points, 6 rebounds. Thank you, Hal. Here's Tonda diving in for the finish.
And for the record, Taylor Jones, it was Holly that called you the bigger, quicker load.
Here's Fulwiley, gets fouled, and Malaysia Fulwiley will shoot 2. And we saw this at times from South Carolina last year because of their depth. Dawn Staley has the ability to push different buttons, and Fulwiley often was that for her last year. Of course, in the national championship game, Iowa got out to that incredible start, and it was Fulwiley and Tessa Johnson who came off the bench, made such an impact to steady things for South Carolina en route to an eventual win.
And an impact Fulwiley had in the SEC tournament, named the most outstanding performer there as well.
And that foul, Rebecca, very significant because that was called on Taylor Jones, and it is her second. So Taylor Jones goes to the bench with 2 personals. 47 seconds left before halftime.
7 players in this game already with 2 or more fouls.
Fulwiley hits the second. 34-26, Texas in front. Here's Harmon, mid-range jumper, short. Fulwiley the rebound, blasting it into the front court. Fulwiley, look out, that's gonna be a blocking foul called on Lee. And Fulwiley is going to shoot 2. Texas is furious with that call. And I'll be curious to see a replay, Rebecca, because to the naked eye, it looked like Lee was there and set. But let's see. Nope. I don't think she had all the real estate. I think she was leaning into the space of Fulwiley. Right call.
Tough one. But I think you're right. I think it's the right call. What's hard for Texas is they take such pride in taking charges, something that they really work on.
Fulwiley hits a 3 throw, and Vic Schaefer still upset. We have seen both officials very animated at different points in this first half. Fulwiley misses the second. And then a foul on Chloe Kitts. It's going to be her second. And that didn't look like a lot at all. To me, that's the kind of thing.
You let go.
In a game like this, just let that go. There is no reason to call a ticky-tack region that is completely inconsequential in the outcome of the play when you have 2 top 4 teams in the nation trying to play basketball.
I agree with you.
11 total fouls apiece for South Carolina and Texas in this first half. Shot clock turned off. When Tonda bounces in, Oldacre able to finish. Navigating around Adele Tack. Fulwiley the launch. And that'll do it for the first half. Texas dominant defensively. They take a 9-point lead into halftime over South Carolina, and Madison Booker standing by with Holly Rowe.
Madison, you've been able to dictate what you wanted on offense early in this game. How have you done that?
I mean, Holly, I told you, patience. It's patience in the offense. In the offense, our defense are stopping them, so we're getting more, like offense on patience.
Not many teams have been up on South Carolina. How do you not let that get in your head and come out and put together a tough defensive second half?
I mean, I think it's just really just playing our game. We're just making them play our tempo of the game, so it's kind of speeding them up.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Holly.
8 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists for Madison Booker. Texas, a 9-point lead at the half. They hold South Carolina their second lowest quarter of the season in that second. Now time to get you to studio. Chris Budden and Andrea Carter. Well, Texas with a 36-27 lead over South Carolina. A top 4 matchup as we get ready to start the second half in Austin. You are watching the SEC on ESPN. We take a look now at today's game track brought to you by E-Trade from Morgan Stanley. South Carolina, a lot on the line here. They've had 57 straight regular season conference wins, an SEC record. This is the largest halftime deficit they've faced against an SEC opponent since January 10th of 2021. And a big difference in Texas's shooting today versus January 12th in their first meeting. As we welcome you back courtside, Ryan Ruocco alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. Texas has to be really happy with what they were able to do in that first half.
Yeah, they have to be thrilled. And, this is kind of what you would expect, a defensive battle between two really good defensive teams. A lot of fouls called. It might end up being survival of the fittest in terms of who has the best players available at the end of the game, the way it's being called. But, yeah, Texas has to be thrilled with their toughness so far in this one. Let's
set things over to another Hall of Famer, Holly Rowe.
Well, one of the things Don Staley has really been preaching to her team the last couple of weeks is rebounding, and they got out-rebounded in the first half of this game, 21-16. She said for us to control our own destiny this season, rebounding has to be a mainstay. Now, some of that is because some of their best rebounders were out on the bench with foul trouble, so they have to get better on the boards. One thing Don Staley kept repeating to us last year with this young group, they just don't get rattled. We'll see if they can not get rattled in front of this sold-out crowd on the road.
All right, Holly, thank you very much. Yeah, wonderful atmosphere here at Moody Center. Because Pow was in foul trouble in that first half. Hits. The offensive rebound. Put back won't go. Raven Johnson and 0 boards. So right away, Holly getting at the glass here to begin this third quarter. South Carolina is just 4 for 17 from the floor after starting 5 for 10. Pow skates in and gets fouled. And Pow will shoot 2 as Tonda picks up her third personal.
Pow rejected the screen, then snaked in, found her way into the paint, got a good-looking shot up on the rim. And we've talked about it all year long, but how that's such an improved part of her game.
Yeah, I mean, this year, from 2, she is shooting a career-best 59.6%. It was a point of emphasis for Dawn Staley, just learning to take more shots inside the arc after Pow had established herself as such a threat from beyond the arc. And she has done that this year. Shooting almost 40% of her shots in the paint. Last year, that number was under 29%. And Dawn Staley talked about wanting to help get her where she needs to be in the pros. And that being one of the next steps, so too her defensively, where Dawn also feels Pow has improved tremendously. Off the Booker miss, Kitts dumps it down, Fagan lays it in, a good start to the third for South Carolina.
And these are really important minutes for both of these teams. Texas was so good in that first half. You want to come out these first few minutes and establish yourselves again, and South Carolina has done a great job these last few possessions cutting into this lead.
5-point Texas lead, Shea Holly in the corner, can't hit, just the second three-point attempt of the game for Texas. That's not abnormal. They are last in the nation in three-point rate.
Only average 3 makes per game.
On the drive, Fagan able to lay it in. Got the step on Jones.
Couple possessions in a row. We've seen how valuable Sanaya Fagan is to what South Carolina wants to do.
And Texas is going to take an early timeout.
South Carolina making a run here to start the third quarter. Fagan slips the screen, finishes inside, and then doesn't need an assist on this one. Takes it herself, making a difference early.
A 6-0 start to the third quarter for South Carolina as we take a look at our Wooden Legends of Coaching Spotlight, brought to you by Principal Dawn Staley, one of 5 Female Legends of Coaching Award recipients. Has done just an unbelievable job with South Carolina, 3-time national champion now. And today's a big day for Dawn Staley, not just because of coaching for South Carolina Gamecocks, but she is Philly through and through. And as we could see, she reps her Eagles on a regular basis. Today has the green shoes, the Eagle socks, and the Super Bowl hoodie before they take on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl later today. Off the timeout, Booker couldn't hit. A tie up here. Possession arrow belongs to Texas. Holly Rowe?
Dawn Staley grew up on 25th and Diamond in Philly, and she actually has a street named after her. That's how deep her Philly roots go. Dawn Staley Way is a staple in that city of brotherly love, and I love how she rides for the Eagles, reps for them. She was going to go to the game today, but her private plane can't make it in now because President Trump decided to go to the game and cleared out the airspace, so she can't make it, but she's going to have a big party in Columbia.
Thank you, Holly, as Booker hits the jumper. Well, we said, oh, you're going to have to have a quick game. And she said, I also need my players to make sure they get ready quickly afterwards. Get showered, get changed, we're going. Booker makes it a 5-point Texas lead. Fagan can't hit that one. Kids had it taken away then by Booker. Madison Booker. Off to Harmon. Holly was open in the corner. Instead, it's Jones. Can't finish. Went in Tundican.
Jones took a peek over her middle shoulder, turned the other way, wasn't able to finish, but because Jones drew 2 defenders, Mwenentanda was able to get the clear O-board and finish.
11 second chance points for Texas to South Carolina's 5. South Carolina had just 3 offensive rebounds in the first half. They already have 3 in the third. Hall connects on the 3. Bree Hall has hit some very big threes throughout her collegiate career. Her first points of the game today make it a 4-point contest. Either team with a bountiful amount of production from 3 in this game thus far. South Carolina 3 of 8, Texas 0 for 2 as Pow takes it on the run off the window. Here's Johnson in the corner. Can't hit the 3, and now Booker springs off the miss. Booker wheeling behind bodies, gets denied, but a foul on Sanaya Fagan. And Fagan has had a few of those looks today. That's her 3rd personal.
Sorry to jump. Yeah. That looks so clean for Sanaya Fagan, and we've already seen how impactful she can be when she's on the floor in foul trouble in the first half.
I think it's a block shot.
That's a block shot. 2 of her 3 fouls have been on clean blocks.
And we saw in the first meeting she had 6 block shots against Texas, made such a difference. Yeah, now Fagan has to check out. That's a huge difference for South Carolina.
And she's been so impactful here in the third quarter offensively.
Well, here's our ACC Big 12 Big Monday doubleheader on ESPN. North Carolina takes on Clemson at 7 Eastern. The number 5 Houston hosts Baylor, and only the 4th matchup ever between the Cougars and the Bears.
Monday is big. What's the little day of the week?
Come join us for Little Wednesday.
Little Wednesday. I go with Wednesday.
Booker with 12. She hasn't been especially efficient, but still much better than the first meeting as Oldacre. Oh, can she make it to the finish line? No. Crowd was preparing for jubilance. What a pass! Kids tips it to Edwards for the finish. This beautiful touch there, and Joyce Edwards lays it in. Four-point Texas lead. Madison Booker roaming left. Across her body, gets fouled by Johnson. And Booker is going to shoot two. How about that touch pass by Chloe Kitts to Edwards for the layup?
Let's get another look at it so we can see if it's intentional. Edwards cutting to the basket on the right side. Ball coming up. It was beautifully done, Chloe Kitts.
Let's hear from Madison Booker in our Wooden Watch, brought to you by Principal.
When I go to the stands and sign autographs and I talk to the kids, I just want to pass down my love for the game to them. Just how when I was younger, I got passed down from my favorite role models and basketball players. And just to be able to interact with them, it's just so heartwarming.
And now for today's Star Story, brought to you by Sarah V. Madison Booker in this contest, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Not the most efficient game for Booker, but a big improvement from her performance last time out against South Carolina. And Taylor Jones, 11 points, was the most consistently relied upon source of offense for Texas in that first half.
Yeah, she did a really good job of carving out space in the post in the first half. Booker has not necessarily been efficient from the floor, but she's been really good from the line so far today.
And Booker, an 86% free throw shooter. This is the second here, thanks to Rebecca's announcer jinx.
Nothing to do with it.
If only we were so powerful.
I know.
Pow with Harmon draped all over her. Kitts provides an outlet.
The one in Te-Hina just out there denying almost to midcourt.
Pow a three off the mark in a harried possession. Thanks to the Texas D. Here's Booker creeping down, kicking out. Tonda, she got it. 7-point Texas lead. Remember, South Carolina has not lost a regular season SEC game since December 30th of 2021 in overtime at Missouri. Hall connects on another three.
Well, that's a tough one because the pass did not come right to her shooting pocket. She had to catch it down by her knees, still able to get it and finish.
4-point Texas lead, under 4 to go in the third quarter. Appreciate you hanging out with us on this Super Bowl Sunday. Some good hoops to take you into tonight's action.
Look how overloaded South Carolina's defense is. Everyone on one side of the floor.
Booker can hit. Rebound, Pow.
And you can play like that against a team that does not take a high percentage of threes.
Taking just 2 today. Hall run off, dishes back. Pow. You bet. It's a 1-point game. And you can hear the vocal South Carolina fans here now, getting stirred up in this third. Tonda pushes out. Harmon trying to find space. Harmon can't pop it in. Rebound Edwards.
Really good box out first by Edwards.
Pow picking her way through. Leaves it short. Tonda the rebound. Off the handoff, Booker out to Tonda. Wenentanda lays it in.
What a tough move by Wenentanda. Looked to her left as if she was going to pass it to her shooter. Instead, 2-foot stop and finish.
8 points for a 4 from the floor. Texas a 3-point lead. South Carolina has not led today. Kitts turns the corner, lays it in, plus the foul. And a chance for 3 for Chloe Kitts.
South Carolina crawling back on the heels of hitting a couple threes. Pow with the pass to Hall, catches at her knees, gathers, hits. And then how about returning the favor? Hall back to Pow. That one was right in her shooting pocket. Drains the 3.
And if you're Madison Booker, you can't have the hand down like that with Pow as Kitts ties it at 47. Texas is led by as many as 10 today. Harmon backs up, can't hit. Oldacre, and a foul called on Edwards. Will keep things here. First personal on Joyce Edwards. The first meeting between these teams, Texas led for a total of 1 minute and 27 seconds. Booker gets the roll on the jumper. 15 for Madison Booker. Kitts working the freshman lead. Kitts trying to hold on and does. Edwards a lot of space, knocks in the jumper.
Oldacre had to come and help Lee because of the size disadvantage inside. Kitts recognized 2 defenders and passed it out to Edwards.
Tied at 49, 1:20 to go in the 3rd. Booker. Here's Harmon. Harmon cruising and gets fouled by Hall. That'll be her 2nd. And free throws here for Rory Harmon.
And this is a relatively small lineup for South Carolina. No one really to match the physical size of Oldacre inside. Curious to see if it stays, the lineup stay like this, if Texas try to take advantage of her.
Oldacre made such a difference in the first meeting between these teams. Got into some foul trouble, though. In that game at 12 offensive rebounds.
This has not been a pretty free throw shooting clinic for either team.
No. And Harmon misses both. 79% on the season, and she misses both. South Carolina could take their first lead of the day.
Rory Harmon on Kitts inside.
Fulwiley overcooked it, and Booker on the weak side. Lee's 3 off. Pow the rebound. Texas 0 for 3 from 3. They're 11 of 18 from the line. South Carolina 10 of 17. Johnson, no. And Oldacre controls the board.
Again, if you're Texas, try to take advantage of Oldacre's mismatch inside.
Had a 7-second difference game in shot clock. Oldacre looking at Vic Schaefer, who gave some verbal instruction. Here's Lee off to Booker. 8 to shoot. Lee dumps it down. There's Oldacre getting a touch, but a travel.
She was there, though. She was there. She just needed to simplify and turn and take a shot over her middle shoulder. But you saw how she was able to bury Kitts just because of the size advantage that she has.
Both teams have done a pretty good job protecting the basketball against 2 of the better defensive teams in the country. Tied at 49, Johnson gets it across. Here comes Edwards. Edwards held up by Oldacre, and the possession arrow belongs to South Carolina.
Freshman has guts, taking it in right at Oldacre. We see her with her 6'10" wingspan. Just puts 2 hands on the ball, and that's why it's called a jump. Held ball in college, I suppose.
Johnson will inbound. Lobs it into Edwards, knocked away Oldacre. Edwards gets it off, and that'll do it for the third. Tied at 49 through 3. Fourth quarter action is coming up next. Can Texas do something no SEC team has done in the regular season since December of 2021? That's beat South Carolina. Holly chats with Vic Schaefer next.
Well, Coach Schaefer, you were challenging your team to show more toughness after that last meeting against South Carolina. How have they responded today?
Well, I think they've responded very well. I'm proud of them. They really fought today. Got a quarter left. You knew they were going to come out and punch in the second half. That's what great teams do, but I'm proud of our kids. We've really taken a step today, and I love our toughness. I love our competitive spirit. We just got to execute a little better on offense and have a little better defense.
How do you finish this quarter? What has to be the emphasis?
Yeah, back to what we were doing the first half. Really put an emphasis on defense, team defense, keeping them in front. We've lost their shooters a couple of times. Can't lose their shooters. And then we got to execute down here and get to the free throw line.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, praise the Lord and open doors.
All right, Vic. And Holly, thank you very much. Here we go. Fourth quarter action. Tied at 49. South Carolina number 2 in the country. Texas number 4. South Carolina has won 57 straight regular season games against the SEC. That is a conference record being tested today in Austin. Here's Booker. Her jumper rims off. Rebound knocked out of bounds by Johnson, and it stays with Texas.
But coming out of that quarter, the play was to clear out the right side of the floor and let Madison Booker go to work.
We didn't see a whole lot of Taylor Jones in that third, Rebecca, after she had been such a primary factor in the first half, as Holly gets free for the leg.
And Oldacre has been solid on both ends of the floor, but wondering when they might go back to Jones.
Oh, look at Fulwiley just beating Texas down the floor.
She's rubbing her forearm, though, and running down the floor, favoring it a little bit.
13-2 advantage in fast break points from South Carolina. Preston looking for space, gives it up. Oldacre hooks it in. The Miami transfer, Oldacre, has been a big factor for Texas this season en route to their 23-2 record.
Raven Johnson trying to post up inside.
Fulwiley dishes to the corner. Pow. No. Rebound volleyed by Oldacre into the arms of Booker. Madison Booker with 9 rebounds to go with her 15 points. Booker working behind Oldacre. Booker wraps inside.
And credit Oldacre, she sets a big screen. It's tough to fight over and around that. Gave Madison Booker the clear lane to the basket.
A foul on Preston on the drive.
You see the high ball screen by Oldacre. Johnson does a good job fighting over Fagan, trying to toggle and get there, but Booker able to finish. This was Fulwiley after we saw her score in transition. Kind of came down. No, she wasn't saying like ice in the vein. She's actually like rubbing her forearm. You see her leaving the court now.
Going back to the locker room as Pow collects the deflected inbound pass. We'll see when we get an update on Fulwiley. Pow can't hit the 3. Wow, what a rebound from Raven Johnson. Leaves it short on the putback. Tessa Johnson puts it in. And a much better attack on the offensive glass in the second half from South Carolina. 55-53, Texas in front, 7:40 to go in the fourth. Preston. Wiggling into the paint, Preston travel.
The Texas going into their dribble drive action, and Preston has got some quickness and got inside. If she had just done a nice little pump fake, she would have been able to finish.
Let's get a little update on Malaysia from Holly.
Well, guys, I saw Malaysia back in the hallway with their athletic training staff, and they were doing some strength tests on her to make sure that that shoulder and arm, maybe a little stinger or something, because she was able to press, give good strength, and now she's back on the bench. I think she'll return to the game.
All right, thank you, Hal. Here's Pow finds the cutter. Johnson, nice passing on the interior. Fagan can't finish it. Oldacre a factor defensively.
Holly Rowe just lurking everywhere.
That's right.
I think McKylan never was able to break curfew without her knowing.
Still can't. Deep into his 20s. Booker can't hit the jumper. Oldacre the rebound and the putback. Shot clock at 5. Hall, no. Rebound. It's going to stay here. Oldacre fouling Fagan. And that'll be number 3 on Oldacre.
Preston played really good defense on that possession. Did not let anyone get by her. Tough shot forced, and then Fagan just getting to the offensive glass.
Maddie McDaniel into the game for South Carolina, the freshman. McDaniel flings it out. Booker knocks it away, and it lasted Booker. It's going to be South Carolina basketball. Fagan, nice look. Johnson gets denied, but a foul. No complaint from Shea Holly there after the call. Let's take a look.
South Carolina uses Fagan to alleviate some of the pressure, and she's a good passer. Yeah, Holly certainly fouled Johnson's arm. But what a dime. Almost delivered there by Fagan.
Tessa Johnson hits the free throw. We've seen that from Fagan, the way she passes from the elbow. Really strong.
How has basketball not evolved to a point that you get an assist when you make a great pass and the player gets fouled and makes the free throw?
Record book integrity? I don't know. We'll have a formally emailed response to you by midweek.
Love formal emails.
By Small Wednesday. Holly the rebound. Lee out to Oldacre. Texas can reset. 13 offensive rebounds in this game for Texas. They're second in the country in offensive rebounding percentage, only LSU better. Shot clock at 3. Oldacre jumper short. Rebound Holly can't spin it in. And South Carolina basketball trailing by 2. 5:29 to go in the fourth.
Good defensive possession once again from South Carolina.
Here's Preston. Harmon and Taylor Jones extended time on the bench for Texas. McDaniel lost the handle. Oldacre able to swipe it away. Booker navigating and finishing. Plus the foul.
Texas had this fast break opportunity because of Oldacre's toughness and hand strength. Here, just rips the ball away, finds her guard. Madison Booker goes the other way, absorbs a teeny tiny bit of contact and finds her way to the free throw line.
So Booker, 7 total points in the first meeting, has 19 today to go with 9 rebounds. Make it 20 for Madison Booker. Texas's lead is 5. about midway through this fourth. Powell lost the handle for a moment. Hall, not that time. Fagan the old board and the putback. And a big rebound there from Sanaya Fagan.
Texas defense was in rotation, so Oldacre was all the way out at the top, contesting, leaving Fagan an opportunity to get that old board.
Preston with speed, at it poked from behind by McDaniel. Timeout on the floor. Good finish coming your way. Texas a 60-57 lead with 4:39 to go in the fourth. All right, thank you very much, ladies. Looking forward to that game as well. South Carolina 57-game SEC regular season win streak on the line today. A conference record. Meanwhile, Texas 6 wins versus top 2 teams since 2000. That's 7th most in D1. South Carolina has not led today. They led for over 37 minutes of the first meeting between these teams back on January 12th. Here's Preston, the freshman, getting it into Oldacre. Rory Harmon remains on the bench for Texas. Here's Preston. Peeling back, Booker with 4 to shoot. In some trouble, Booker now realizes it, launches, can't hit, and the rebound tilts out of bounds to South Carolina.
Preston has been really good in this game, and she's been solid defensively. She's pushed pace, but you wonder if Vic Schaefer, as this game winds down, goes to the much more experienced Rory Harmon.
Alicia Fulwiley back in after having her arm examined for South Carolina. Powell cuts through, kicks out. Fulwiley behind the back, jumper is good. Malaysia Fulwiley can create for herself at any moment.
Holly played really good defense there. That was just a move by Malaysia.
1-point game. Reminder, next Sunday on ABC, it's UConn and South Carolina. Game day will be there as well. And a steal from Fulwiley. Here comes Hall in transition. Fulwiley dribbled it off her foot out of bounds. Last hit Texas, and it's going to stay with South Carolina. And here you go, Rebecca. Now Rory Harmon will check in for Preston.
Oh yeah, she bounced it off Holly's foot. Yeah, that last possession, Preston just tried to force it into Madison Booker. You're on the strong side of the floor. Too many defenders there to try to get that pass inside.
Powell finds Fagan, was looking for somebody, nobody was there. South Carolina turns it over. South Carolina has tied it 3 times this second half. They have not been able to take a lead. They have not led in this game as we have a whistle. The clock never ran. Clock froze at 3:25. While they sort this out, we'll let you know that Wednesday, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs wrap up their 6-game road trip in Boston to face the Celtics, and then the Warriors in Dallas.
Previous plays under review for clock stopping.
New look Mavs, new look Warriors. NBA countdown tips off our coverage at 6:30 Eastern.
Now, which of those games is super important for me to watch so I can listen to my partner?
The first game.
The Celtics game. All right.
DB and me on that one.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Double the fun.
So they're going to take a look at where the clock should be at because it never ran. You can see it freezes at 3:25. It just stays frozen. And still did not pick back up. Even as Rory Harmon took it across half court, so they will get the clock right here. It gives each team a chance to discuss things in their respective huddles. Texas with 3 team fouls already in this fourth. South Carolina just 1.
Gives the band a chance to really,
show
the
their stuff.
trombonists, to exercise their arms.
What a game it's been here in Austin between number 4 Texas and number 2 South Carolina. Ryan Rucco, the Hall of Famer, Rebecca Lobo. All right, Rebecca, what's a key for each team executing down the stretch?
Number one is going to be taking care of the basketball. Both teams have been so good about extending their defense and making life tough for the opponent, but both teams have also taken care of the ball pretty well. And you know, with Texas, they're going to want Madison Booker involved on that end of the floor, so South Carolina will have a focus on trying to prevent her from getting too good of a look.
And a really nice bounce-back performance from Madison Booker today.
Game clock will be adjusted to 3:15, 23 on the shot clock.
So there's the game clock adjustment, and here's the day from Booker after she was 3 for 19 with 7 points in the first meeting. A much better performance this afternoon.
Got involved right away, assist into Taylor Jones, and then we know she's one of the best mid-range elevate and hit players in the game. We've also seen her attack the rim, get to the free throw line. Not as efficient as she typically is, but certainly effective scoring the basketball.
1 point Texas lead. 3:08 to go. Oldacre the position, and Harmon able to find her.
Well executed play out of that, not really timeout, but out of that stoppage. Vic Schaefer able to draw that up.
Under 3 minutes to go in the fourth. Johnson fakes the three, can't hit the floater. Long rebound, taken in by Shea Holly. Texas has done its damage in the paint today, 19 for 29, with 6 for 26 outside of it. Lee bounces in. Booker lost it, gets it back, out to Oldacre, 8 to shoot. Oldacre puts it on the deck and bangs it in. Kyla Oldacre having a huge fourth quarter. Fulwiley gets fouled on the other end and will go to the line.
Kyla Oldacre is not a player who's comfortable shooting from 15 to 17 feet. So instead of making the defense force her to take one, couple dribbles and jump stop. Again, 6'10" wingspan, uses her size and strength to finish.
8 points in the fourth for Oldacre.
She took the shot she wanted to take versus taking the one the defense was trying to give her.
And how about the move from Vic Schaefer too, staying with Oldacre as Fulwiley hits the first. But even as Taylor Jones had a wonderful first half, he's really ridden Oldacre in this second half, and it's worked out.
All season long, he's called him his two-headed monster inside, and they have played really well off of one another, and they both played really well just at different times in this game.
Dawn Staley will take a timeout after Fulwiley hits both. We'll be back in 30 seconds. (64-61), Texas in front of South Carolina. 2:12 to go in the fourth quarter. South Carolina has won 57 straight games in the regular season against the SEC, a conference record. Texas trying to snap that streak today. South Carolina has not led in this game.
Dawn Staley called that timeout, allowing her team now to pick up full court pressure.
Here's Harmon able to get around Fulwiley to break the timeline. 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Harmon backing away. Texas, they do not zip into shots in their possessions. Always run clock. Harmon, 5 to shoot. Harmon fading, left it short. Offensive rebound, Booker, and a foul on Fulwiley. Just the second team foul on South Carolina. Meanwhile, Texas over the limit, so the Gamecocks in the bonus.
Madison Booker has done a nice job all game long of tracking her teammates' shots. That one, she set the on-ball screen for Harmon and then went and got the offensive board.
Oldacre can't hit, and the rebound taken in by South Carolina. Booker, to your point, 5th double-double of the season. A 20-10 game. Inside of 90 seconds remaining. South Carolina trailing by 3 with the basketball. Fagan blistered a pass inside. Johnson keeps it alive. 5 to shoot. Raven Johnson gets blocked by Holly. Saves it underneath. Fagan can't finish, and a whistle as it went out of bounds. The officials are going to confer here.
Really good defense by Holly. Block shot. I mean, there's only 0.5.
Plays under review for a shot clock issue.
There's 0.5 on the shot clock right now, so if it does end up a possession for South Carolina, yes, they get a timeout, you know, to drop a play they wouldn't normally have, but 0.5 is tough. You can catch and shoot in college basketball at 0.5.
You know, the question would be whether or not
I think that was right. I'm sorry, what would the question be?
should the shot clock have reset when Holly had possession post-block? Should it have been a shot clock for Texas?
After review, the shot clock should be on 28 seconds.
Yes, there you go.
South Carolina ball.
Because when Holly blocked the shot, she then had possession, turned it over on the save. So when she has possession there, it's a Texas shot clock. She turns it over on the save. South Carolina gets a new shot clock. They never did. So rather than 0.5 of a second remaining, they get 28 on the shot clock.
Remind me to always let you finish your question before I jump in. And obviously, that's massive.
Massive
Big difference between 28 and 0.5.
So 1:10 to go in the fourth, 28 on the shot clock. And now South Carolina with the basketball. No field goals last 2:47 for South Carolina against this Texas defense. Here's Johnson. Tessa Johnson backs away. Crowd on its feet at the Moody Center. 1 minute remaining. Fagan, the handoff fumbled. Hall in some trouble, and a foul is called. And South Carolina is in the bonus. So free throws here for South Carolina with just 6 on the shot clock. And Vic Schaefer saying, you have got to be kidding me on that call.
Madison Booker was fighting over the screen hard, trying to beat Hall to the spot, got called for the extra hands.
Now early on, it was called very tightly. The officials have loosened up a bit as the game has gone on. Let's see whether or not this looks like a foul. I mean, nothing there looked like a foul on Madison Booker. The officials right now looking at the time on the clock.
Man, if you're the free throw shooter, you hate it though. With Dawn Staley calling her team over, you know, another way to ice the shooter is by going to the official monitor. Vic Schaefer was looking at his players and telling them, box out on the free throw. South Carolina historically has been a really good
Gamecock set to 51.6.
Has been a really good team getting offensive boards off of missed free throws.
So Hall at the line, 71% on the season. She's 20 of 28. First free throws of the day. And misses the first. South Carolina 14 for 22 from the line.
And with the clock under a minute, Texas can time out and advance the basketball.
Hall got the second. Here's Booker on the inbound. 2-point Texas lead. 50 seconds to go. Pressure in the backcourt from South Carolina. Harmon will walk it across. About a 21-second difference, game and shot clock. Terrific contest here in Austin. Harmon with 10 on the shot clock. Looking in, finds Oldacre. Oldacre turns, can't finish. Rebound secured by Fagan. And a timeout taken by South Carolina.
So much credit to Sanaya Fagan. She has done a job today when she's been on the floor defensively. And Kyla Oldacre, so big, so strong, gets good position. You also see Pow Pow come in to help. Fagan keeps active hands. If Pow Pow doesn't come in, this is a much easier catch and turn and look for Oldacre, but good team defense by the Gamecocks.
So South Carolina still with 2 timeouts remaining. Texas with 3. Texas is over the limit. South Carolina in the bonus. It's South Carolina basketball in a game they have not led. They trail by 2, 26 and a half seconds to go. Rebecca, how about South Carolina on the offensive end here and where they may want to go?
Well, what we've seen a lot from them is getting the ball to Fagan at the top of the floor and trying to get movement behind her, cutting and screening. Wouldn't be surprised either to see a high ball screen for Te-Hina Pow Pow.
South Carolina has won 57 straight games in the regular season against the SEC, a conference record. Raven Johnson has to get it in and does. Here's Hall. Hall backs away, 22 seconds remaining. South Carolina down 2. Tessa Johnson turns the corner, can't lay it in. It goes over the backboard into the arms of Booker, who's fouled. 14 seconds remaining. Texas leads by 2. And Texas will take a timeout. South Carolina still with one more foul to give.
South Carolina got a switch and got Lee, the freshman, switching off here, but Lee is a terrific defender and does a great job contesting without fouling. Booker corrals the board. Here, Holly, the switch. We've heard Vic Schaefer talk so much about Lee being a really good defender, even for a freshman, and she does a really good job there without fouling. Now, on this end of the floor, Texas, it's important that they do have 2 timeouts because the #1 thing is to get the ball in bounds. And if you're South Carolina, 1, you're trying to go for a steal. 2, you're trying to get the possession arrow. It is in your favor. If you can't do either of those things, then you foul.
And you can see Dawn Staley saying, we got a foul. Still have one more foul to give. That's going to mean a little more time. Runs off the clock. Now, this is interesting. If you're Vic Schaefer, why are you not advancing the basketball here? Madison Booker's going to inbound it from the backcourt. So Texas does not advance the basketball here. Oh, everybody goes out like they're running a passing route, and Harmon is fouled by Fulwiley. So that's why Vic Schaefer had a play in mind with everybody like they're going long, and Harmon ended up alone.
But this is not an easy place to inbound from. It's one thing when you're on the baseline, but when you're on the short corner sideline, this is not an easy place to inbound from.
Booker with 12.9. Looking to get it in. Oldacre gives it up immediately to Harmon, who is fouled. What an astute play from Kyla Oldacre. Did not give South Carolina a chance to foul her. Went right to Harmon.
Yeah, when you're a big player here, play hot potato. Just get it out of your hands. You know you want Rory Harmon to be the one who's at the free throw line.
Although today, Harmon 0 for 2. Harmon 79% on the season, in case you were wondering. Oldacre just 69%. South Carolina still with 2 timeouts remaining. Texas 12 of 19 on the day. Harmon hits the first 3-point game. Critical one here is good. It's a 2-possession lead for Texas. .8 to go in the 4th. Texas trying to hand South Carolina their first regular season conference loss since December 30th of 2021. Still time here for South Carolina thanks to the timeout they have remaining.
Exactly, and that changes things because they have that timeout where they can advance. We'd expect Dawn Staley to drawing something up, perhaps a direct entry right into the post where they can get a quick 2 or a slip screen that gets you a quick look close to the basket. If not, if you have to pass it and enter it outside the 3-point line, trying to drive it at the basket. If you draw enough D, you can kick it out for 3, but you do not need a 3 here.
Electric atmosphere at the Moody Center today in Austin. Texas a 4-point lead, 10.8 to go in this 4th. South Carolina ball, 1 timeout remaining. Johnson has it deflected. Fagan still grabs it. Fagan a three, off the mark, rebound Harmon, and that will do it. The streak ends at 57. Texas and South Carolina. Its first regular season conference loss since December 30th of 2021. 66-62 the final as the Longhorns win it. Huge bounce back performance from Texas and from Madison Booker, who is with Holly Rowe.
Well, Madison, you responded to this team. You've ended a 57-game winning streak for South Carolina. How did you close this win out?
Hey, they're a great team. I think toughness. Last time, we got out-toughed. This time, we out-toughed them today. We won all the battles. So I think that's how we got the dub.
There's 10 seconds left. They're still in the game. How did you guys keep your composure?
It's a mental game. It's a mental game. That's all I got to say.
It's Super Bowl Sunday. It's sold out in here. What does this crowd mean to you that they were here for you?
Hey, it means a lot. We didn't have this crowd back in South Carolina, so today we came out and showed out for them.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Well, Madison Booker, 20 points, 11 rebounds, and Texas a 66-62 win. For our producer, Bill Palladino, our director, Anthony DeMarco, Hall of Famers, Rebecca Lobo and Holly Rowe. I'm Ryan Rucco.